Hello, welcome to my live. Today is Wednesday, the 17th of December, and it's just 6 p.m. UK time, the time I always come here on YouTube. And so, for those who don't know me yet, I'm a therapist and coach, and I use my free time to come here and take questions and address anything you'd like me to talk about in regards to mental health, therapy, emotional intelligence, compassion, gratitude, acceptance, mindset, mindfulness, all of those things, relationships. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask me about anything at all, that's why I'm here for. Now, it's always a little bit slow at start. So when I go live, I always start by reading and commenting on a handful of some of my posts. So I'm going to do just that. But as soon as I get some questions from you, I will redirect my attention towards any topics that you would like me to address. Okay. Jessie, hi. Hello, Jessie. So the first post goes like this. We seek, allow, and repeat what feels familiar, not what feels good. And so this is a secret of the mind. And basically, we are attracted to anything that is familiar, anything that is deemed normal, anything that has a track record is what we want. It's what our mind wants, even if it's not good for our happiness or health, even if it doesn't feel good. And that's why many of us who are stuck into places, mental and emotional places, where we are very unhappy, we suffer depression, anxiety, overthinking, and that's because it is our normality. If we've been doing something for a long time, even if it's not good for our health and how we feel, it is something that we have done before and we are still alive. And so the mind is going to conclude this is good, this is normal, and it's going to basically get us to always return to the familiar. We are somehow addicted to our internal biochemistry. Next post goes like this. You find it difficult to accept that you are worthy because you believe that you need a reason to be worthy. And this is also another great topic. We believe that we're not enough, we're not worthy, because we, as we are, is not sufficient. We need to have other things. But this is not true. We're all born worthy. The concept of worthy, the very definition of worthy should be upgraded, I think. We're all worthy. What does that mean? I'm worthy to exist. I'm worthy to be happy. We all deserve that. Those are basic human rights, and we should really remind ourselves that we don't have to be doing something in order to be worthy. And this is because of the conditioning we had in childhood. Because most of us, we didn't have unconditional love. We had to do things in order to deserve love. So this is how we ended up believing that I don't come inherently worthy. I've got to do something. I have to show something in order to be enough, in order to be worthy, in order to get some love and attention. Next post. Your life doesn't have to be remarkable in order to be good. Satisfying is good enough. And this is another perspective also that we should all really spend time considering. We believe that our life is not good enough because we are comparing ourselves with people who have some extraordinary lives on Instagram, on the social media. And in reality, everyone has got their problems. It's not about how we come across. It's about how we experience our own adventure. And so it doesn't have to be spectacular. It doesn't have to be impressive. As long as you're happy with yourself, that's all that really matters. But sometimes, even if we have happiness, we believe that it's not enough because we've been conditioned to believe that I must be better than others. I must show off. I must really stand out. You don't have to stand out. If you're happy, that in itself will make you stand out in the world that we're living in. Okay, let me read the comment. Jesse, what do you think about manifesting? I created a video about it. I can talk about it if you want. But if you go on my YouTube channel, I put one long form video, a new one every week. And the one that I put out last week is called The Psychology of Manifestation in 10 minutes. And so if you have 10 minutes, go there. I'll explain it all there. On the thumbnail, it says Unmasked, the Law of Attraction. I'm trying to sensationalize here to grab people's attention, but the message is solid underneath. And so basically what I talk about in that video is the psychological process behind the law of attraction and manifestation. I believe in manifestation, but I don't believe that is the way everyone is talking about. It's not like a system that you can use to attract whatever that you want in your life. It doesn't work like this. Your whole life is your manifestation. It is that simple. Manifestation is a mirror of who you are, how you feel, what you think, and what you believe. And so whatever that your life is about is something that you have manifested. So if you want to change something about your life, you don't just visualize. You want to basically change who you are, change how you see yourself, change how you see yourself in that world, so that you can eventually become that person for whom it's going to be easy and natural to attract, to create, or to allow yourself to have the things that you want. So yes, I can talk about it more if you give me some more specific questions, but at a general level, I would redirect you to my video. Again, go on my channel and check the videos section, long form videos, and the one from last week is precisely about manifestation. Benny keeps, I feel no fulfillment in my life. I know what I'm going to do every day. There's nothing new, but I don't do anything to change it. I distract myself this week with a lot of alcohol. I end up feeling even worse, but all I do is lay in bed. I look for information on how it feels, on how to feel better, but I don't do anything. Okay, so you are going through some depression, right? Maybe you've been like that all your life. Maybe it's only a phase. I don't know. But whatever you're going through, think about it like a phase. Everything is a phase, as in nothing lasts forever in our lives. And so at the moment you're going through that because of X, Y, Z. I don't know you yet. I don't know yet what could be the reason and what we could do about it. But if you can at least start to see this like something that is temporary, it may be temporary as in it's going to be lasting a few hours, few days, few weeks, few years, few decades. It's still temporary. If you can accept that it's only temporary, then it's the first step. Everything changes in life. Everything changes in the universe. You change, I change, everyone, everything changes in some capacity each moment, and that's a universal law. Nothing stays forever. And so if you feel like that, it is because it is the experience that you are experiencing in this moment. It's not going to last. How long is it going to last? I don't know. It may last very short, very long, but at some point it will be over. And so realize that at this point in time, you are experiencing this. And so what you can do is to think to yourself, okay, now, since I know that it's only temporary, what can I do to ensure that I can move on to the next phase ASAP? And so we can talk about it, but it's for you to find out the entry point to your problem. Whatever problem we have, no matter how desperate it feels or it seems, no matter how long it's been, everything has an entry point. And it's for you to find out what it is. There are tons of ways to do this. Explore, expand your mind, be curious, read up. And if you find it too difficult, it's okay. Don't do it. Just be. Do your best to feel good about yourself. If you have to distract yourself in any which way, it's still better than not being, right? If you understand what I mean. And so keep going as best as you can. Do things that make you feel good if you can. Do things that makes you feel safe, that makes you feel peaceful, as opposed to anxious or having some negative thought that makes you feel terrible about yourself. And at some point when you can, expand your mind and find out there, ask me, I'm here, right? Tell me about yourself and we can talk about this if you want. But we need to find out whatever you can do in this moment. And so if you can take an action, we can talk about what sort of entry point would be right for you. If you can't, it's okay. Sometimes we're overwhelmed and it's okay to accept that for now, just for now, this is my moment. I can't do anything about it. And so my body is shutting down to protect myself from an overwhelm. And so, yes, do you want to tell me more? Benny Gibbs, please? Jesse, okay, thank you. I will watch. Fantastic. Thank you, Jesse. Again, I can't talk about it, but if you ask me a question very specific, no, I will be going in that direction. If you just ask me, what do you think about manifestation? I think it's easier to go there because there, the videos that I create, I spend a lot of time thinking it, structuring it, designing them, and making sure that I can pass a message in as concise a way as possible. Limor, good evening, Didi. Good evening, Limor. Harry Sally Ij. Hey, I'm from Pakistan, Karachi. Oh, hello. I want to ask about asthma. I have asthma. I am not a GP. I'm not a doctor. Right? I'm into mental and emotional health. And so we could talk about asthma in regards to emotional health if you had an inkling as to what would be the connection between your physical asthma and some episodes from the past. We can talk about this. There are connections there. But if you have asthma and you just want to find out what it is, then the best thing to do is to ask, go and see a GP, right? There are a lot of environment issues, there are a lot of genetic issues. I only address the mental and emotional ones. So we can talk about this if we want, but you have to ask me and tell me more about yourself as well. If you feel that there's any reasons as to why you would have asthma in connection to your own past. Chris Hilton, hello. Hello, Chris Hilton. I remember you. Harry Sari, hello again. Jagged Little Girl, hello. Hey, all in chat. Hope everyone holding up well. Hi, Didi. Hope you're doing well too. I'm very good, thank you. I've just been to the doctor and I've been addressing some things to do with my blood pressure and my heart. And it transpires that as surprisingly as it comes to me, I may suffer from some sort of undealt anxiety. And so this is very interesting and fascinating for me because it means that I'm going to apply all of my tools on me. But here's the thing, at a conscious level, I'm super happy, super zen. And so this really, I think, shows the depth of our subconscious mind and how anxiety can creep up into our lives, even though everything seems to be okay. Jess Eaton, make your bed, then that way you won't want to get back in it and mess it up. Then you feel good about yourself accomplishing your first task of making the bed. You're giving advice for Benny. That's very kind of you. However, for some of us, it's important to say that for some of us, this will not suffice, right? We're all very different. This is why empathy is so important. And so I believe that this could help some people, maybe you, maybe some people that you know, but for some others, and by the sound of what Benny says, I don't think that just making his bed will be good enough. Right? So it's very important to know this, because otherwise we end up giving advice. We come from a good place. We have a good heart, but we end up annoying people because they're like, what? You think that I'm thinking about unaliving myself every day. I don't have any strength to have a shower or to do anything, and you're asking me to just do my bed to fix some of my problems, and they feel very unseen and dismissed. So this is why I'm saying this. I do understand that you come from a good place, and I appreciate this, but I just want to make sure that everyone is comfortable in that space, and so I have to say this. But thank you, Jesse, for the effort, for the input. Benny, I have been here before, and you mentioned trauma is very big things in our life. Yes, I lost my father when I was 18 to drug overdose. I found him dead in the room. I'm 22. It feels this might have something that is causing addiction and depression. Yes, absolutely. So yes, so this is a horrific story, and I'm so sorry to hear about this. And that will explain why you're like that. And so I would recommend you to work on yourself. Start your journey of healing, discovery, self-awareness, therapy, if you can. Read up, practice meditation, learn about yourself, learn about breathing, learn about somatic exercises, lifestyle changes, and all of those things. But what you're going through is normal based on what you told me about your past. It's absolutely normal. There's nothing wrong about you. We all react based to whatever we experience. And so if you have experienced this in your 18, that's a big shock, and your whole nervous system, your brain, your whole self is still shook by it, and so it is normal. Now you can change this, and so this is what we want to talk about. Okay, we can talk about this today, but you want to basically realize that there's nothing that you go through that you can't change, and there are three things that you need to change. And I talk about this often. Number one, you want to talk about the belief, the emotional filters, the triggers that we have that are getting us to feel in a certain way. Number two, lifestyle. So again, do you sleep well? Do you eat well? Do you move and exercise? Sort of things. Do you meditate? Are you happy? Do things that make you happy? Do you socialize? Number three, environment. So environment is the people that you hang out with at home and at work. If you can address all of them, address all of them. If you don't have access to therapy just yet, at least you have a lot of work you can do. You can address your lifestyle and you can address your environment. Are you addicted yourself, Benny? You say it's causing addiction. Do you take drugs, of any sort? Do you smoke weed? You did mention alcohol. Are you a regular alcohol drinker or drug taker? How often do you do this? Jesse, that's how I started getting over depression. Okay, so it worked for you and it's fantastic. And it may work for some people, but we're all very different. Benny Kibbs, thank you, Jesse. Nice. Limor, it's been a while since I caught your live videos. Hope you are well. It's Lynn, by the way. Okay. Hello, Lynn. I'm glad to have you here. Is there anything you'd like to talk about today, Lynn? Jesse, sorry, it helped me to start the day. I won't do it again. It's okay, it's no problem. No, it's nice. Do it, by anyway. There's no problem about doing something, but it's about realizing then, the bigger picture. Don't apologize. It comes from a good place. It's for me to make sure that everyone understands that they're seen, they're being seen, as opposed to just do this and you get over it, right? And again, I understand that it's not your energy, but sometimes on the internet, some words can really come across differently based on the perspective of the person who is reading them. And so that's why I want to make sure that everyone is comfortable. Benny Kibbs, I will have phases where I do very good. Okay, fantastic. And I'm very happy and I will avoid alcohol. Okay. And then all of a sudden I will be drinking every day for weeks and smoking weed every day. I've been addicted to weed. Okay. Since I was 16. All right. Okay. So this is very important because you realize that your state is not constant. It's not fixed. It fluctuates, right? And so what we want to do is to find out what are getting you to fluctuate down. There are many things as to why it may happen. And again, it's for you to go on your own journey of healing. But if you have experienced this, I would suggest you to seek a professional. You can do this on your own, but it's going to take some time. And if you find the right person, that can really, really, really save you so much time and happiness and health as well. Basically, what happens is that we go through phases because our nervous system is going to react to our environment, external and internal. And based on how we are going to perceive certain things happening in our lives, our nervous system is going to either tell us you are safe, keep going, or you're not safe, you need something. And so when we are going into a survival mode, when we're overwhelmed, that's where, like you mentioned, some of us need to have alcohol, weed, distractions, because it's the only way it's the only way we know how to feel a bit better about ourselves in this moment. But the beautiful thing about what you said is that there's a moment where things are okay. So find out what is it about those moments that are making your life okay. What is it about life that feels safe, that feels right, that feels correct? And maybe find a way to recreate those parameters so that your nervous system feels safe, feels aligned with itself and happy, as opposed to in danger or very unhappy. When we are depressed, we are often so because of the voice in our head, because we talk to ourselves in a very, very negative way. We put ourselves down. And so that voice is, whether it's conscious or not, there's a narrative that can be triggered by events from the outside or the inside. And then it's going to get into a state where we're thinking, I'm a loser, I'm good for nothing, I don't deserve the good things in life, and so on and so forth. And now we're going to be feeling terrible about ourselves, and that's when we may need alcohol, weed, or distractions. But yes, focus on the moment where things are doing well, and try to decipher, to crack the code, to find out what is it about those phases where I'm good. How can I make sure that I recreate those parameters so that I'm always feeling safe and balanced and at the right place at the right time, surrounded by the right people. Therapy, Benny, I will try therapy. I'm realizing it's difficult for me on my own. Yeah. Again, it's about finding the right person with the right set of tools at the right time for you. So again, there's not like one system or one person that will be good for you. It's about you finding out who they are, what it is that you should be doing, and this is your journey to take. Jesse, oh no, it is not that easy to get over depression. I suffered for years and finally get over it. Okay, I'm glad that you are. Thank you, Jesse. Well done, well done. It's not easy, indeed. It is. Depression is born from us having disconnected from something very important in our life, but also there's an element of us seeing ourselves under very unfavorable light, and so yeah, it's associated to. What I'm trying to say is that it is connected to our sense of self. So we need to basically upgrade how we see ourselves as a whole to get out of that state. Benny Kips, thank you, Didi. You are very helpful. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I'm glad that anything that I said was helpful. Lynn, I'm good, thanks. I have been suffering from depression related to waiting for surgery for a chronic condition, but putting your wisdom from our past conversations into practice has helped. Fantastic. Hallelujah. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much. So yes, whatever that we're going through, it's not about what is happening to us in our lives. It's about how we're going to deal with those things. And so I was having that conversation with my doctor just before today. And basically to change any aspect of our life, there are only two things that we really need to change. And there are big things, there are big tasks, but there are only two things. Number one, we need to change how we see the world and how we see ourselves in the world. That's one thing. And on the other hand, and that's what's for you, we need to give a different meaning to our experiences. And just that changes everything. And so if you're thinking, telling you that you're waiting for surgery, that waiting, there are many ways to interpret that situation. You may be thinking, perhaps, it sucks, I want to be here, why is it so bad, it's so hard and complicated. And so if you have that meaning about the situation, it's going to be much harder for you to go through that. If, on the other hand, you look at it from a different perspective and you tell yourself, it happens, there's a lot of people. However, I'm going to practice gratitude. I'm lucky. I'm happy that there are some people that can help me. I may have to wait a little bit. I may have to come back another day, but it's still ongoing. Some people in the world, they don't have this. So I'm still very, very lucky and grateful and blessed. And so now suddenly the same situation, I'm feeling much better about myself and it's much easier. Siri, hi. Suggestions on how to stop thinking about someone who we know is not the right for us. I've tried forcing myself to not think about them, but it didn't work. Thank you. Okay, very good question. So I'm going to recycle the words that you use in your ask question. I've tried forcing myself to not think about them. It is not possible. You cannot force yourself not to think about something or someone, because your brain is a machine that gives you whatever you want it to give you. It doesn't process a no, it doesn't process a negative. And so what I'm trying to say is that if I say, don't think about this, you will be thinking about this, because the don't is not understood by your brain. Your mind doesn't know about time, it doesn't know about the past, the future. So when you think about something in the future or in the past, it is processing that information as if it was happening now, right? And in a very similar way, it also doesn't process the negative. So those are things that we want to understand about our brain. And so you cannot force yourself not to think about something. And the example that I given, I think last week I had that chat on the live stream, is the pink elephant exercise. If I ask you not to think about a pink elephant, so I want you right now, don't think about a pink elephant, right? There's a pink elephant. I want you not to think about it. Don't think about that huge pink elephant. And the pink elephant is dancing. And I want you not to think about the pink elephant that is dancing. And just like that, probably, just like me, you saw some pink elephant dancing. And so what you want to do is to realize that although I cannot force myself not to think about something, I can choose what to think about. And so instead of pushing some thoughts away, choose better ones instead. And so in your example, the way you can go on about it is like this. Instead of thinking, I don't want to think about, let's say that person is called Bob. I don't want to think about Bob. I don't want to think about Bob. I hate Bob. I don't want to think about Bob. The more you do this, the more your brain is going to go Bob, Bob, Bob. You can see the face of Bob like 100 times all over the place, Bob, 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 Bob. And so what you want to do is to choose someone else. Instead of trying not to think about Bob, think about other people, other things. Think about the pink elephant dancing, for instance. Think about people that make you happy. Think about things that stimulate you positively, that you want to do. And now you're creating better thoughts. I mean, think about my favorite artist. They released the new album today. I'm going to listen to the music and enjoy and dance and sing. How about that? I mean, focus on my work. I mean, to focus on the things that I need to do. I mean, focus on the people that I'm grateful to have in my life. And now suddenly you're feeling better about yourself because you have chosen different thoughts that are making you feel better about yourself. And so we cannot force ourselves to stop thinking about something, but we can choose a better thought. Your mind can only entertain one thought fully, thoroughly at a time, just one. Sometimes we think that we multitask or we can think about a lot of things, but we don't, because we're thinking about one thing each moment. So if we are multitasking, it's not that we are able to juggle a lot of different things. It's just that our brain goes very quickly from that task to that task, back to that task, and then to that one. So we are all over the place. And so people who believe that they're multitasking, they're not. They're creating confusion in their brain because they are all over the place. They have to come back and forth all the time in all those places. We can only think about one thing at a time, but we just move on very quickly in succession each moment. And so learn how to be more present. And instead of having your mind thinking about all those things, choose one thing, choose one focus. What am I going to think about? I'm going to think about the things that matter to me, the things that make me feel good. And now I'm going to do my best to learn the skill of returning to that place. And this is what meditation and mindfulness are about. It's not about emptying your mind, it's about returning to a place of focus. And so, conclusion, practice meditation, practice mindfulness. That will help you for everything in your life. And for that as well. Does it help? Easy way. Choose where you're going to focus your attention on, and you will feel the related feeling to do with that thought. Sargon said hi, hello. But again, this is what is happening at a superficial level. For some of us, there are patterns of behavior. So if it's something that you have been suffering from for a long time, if it's something that is happening to you with every single person that you meet, then it's something else that we need to address. If it's a one-off, this is how you basically learn how to understand your mind and make it work for you as opposed to against you. Sargon, hello. Jesse, it took years of hard work on myself, okay? Well, as long as you have arrived somewhere that is better, I'm happy for you. We can talk about it more if you want. Jagged little girl, I will try and keep this short. I've been denied the ASD assessment as BPD was diagnosed wrongly 20 years ago, so the symptoms overlapped, so no need to look into it as far as ASD team are concerned. Yes, sadly, the way, so I don't know where you are in the world, but if you're in the UK, the NHS is overwhelmed. They don't have funds. And so the way they operate is very, very can be very chaotic and not very good. If you can afford it, go private. If not, then I'm afraid that's a lot. The systems that you use are also very often still very archaic or passé. And so, yeah, it's a tricky one. That makes things more complicated. But there are many ways for you to address whatever that you have without requiring you to have a diagnosis. I think the diagnosis is more for us because how are we going to address this anyway? It may not necessarily work for you. Again, when it comes to healing, there's something for everyone, but it's first to find out what it is, and the solutions that the NHS provide. It's not about judgment. It's based on everyone's story. It's not so great. And again, it's not that they're bad. It's just that they are underfunded. Jagged little girl, I don't know how to proceed. I feel so lost. Talk to me. Right here, right now. Ask me anything you'd like me to address, and we can maybe clarify your situation. Sargon, heart emoji. Thank you. Lynn, yes, indeed. I always practice gratitude daily, and especially when I feel down about the situation, etc. It has been the dismissive attitude of my consultant that caused me anxiety and depression, but ... to be continued. Fudu, when I don't want to think about any bob, I do eBay sales, very multifunctional, so little times to think about them, okay? As long as you are not using eBay as a distraction, as an addiction, right? Some people suffer from that, shopaholic, alcoholic, shopaholism, so shopaholism. It's a thing. Yeah. But if you are enjoying your shopping and you are not addicted to it, then it's a great thing to do. Why not? Chris Hilton, pink elephants, new favorite. We can replace them with other stuff. Green hippopotamus, I don't know. Yellow wares. Lynn, after a good cry, okay, so that's the following of the previous post. You said, they caused me anxiety and depression, but after a good cry and offloading to my cousin helped me to put the negativity into perspective and be proactive in the situation. Fantastic. So this is the thing. Whatever happens to us in life don't matter as much as what we're going to do next with it. This is one of the secrets. Really, we tend to react to things and we think that, I'm bad because I've reacted to this. And we shame ourselves, we're horrible to ourselves. Instead of realizing that when we react to things, there's nothing else we can do but reacting in those moments. Because the reactions is the program. A lot of people, this is a big topic of mine, and I will create a video about it at some point, but a lot of people always say, you should choose an intellectual response instead of an emotional reaction. Otherwise, you're just not strong, you're not good enough. Like Stoic, very often say those sort of things. And it's terrible because reactions, they have nothing to do with this. It's all to do with that. And so reactions are literally some things that we cannot control. So we don't want to self-shame. We don't want to shame ourselves about something that we can do nothing about. Whatever reactions within any given moment are very programmed. So we're always meant to be doing this. However, the next moment, we can use that to change. And this is the difference. We want to learn how to have a better mindset, to use whatever we are going through, to learn how to understand ourselves more and what to do next. We can change, but only before and after an event, not during it. Eziri, returning to a place of focus. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you, Eziri. Yes. Yeah. Jagged Little Girl, Glasgow, UK. Okay. Yeah, I've been to Glasgow once. Lovely place. Oding 4258. My life is a mess. I waste so much time, I get distracted with YouTube a lot, and don't do what I really do. Why? What can I do? Because you're overwhelmed. So the first thing you want to do is to be kind to yourself. When we're overwhelmed, we're overwhelmed. You can't, when you're overwhelmed, you're already suffering from being overwhelmed. If after the overwhelm, you're telling yourself, what's wrong with me? I'm wasting my life. Now you're hurting yourself a second time. You're doing it for yourself, to yourself. You don't have to do this. We do this because this is how we've been conditioned by our parents, our teachers, society to talk to ourselves. And this is just wrong. If you want to change anything about our life, I came across something today exactly that made me see this from that perspective. Basically, it was something from a neuroscientist seeing how when we shame ourselves, we are preventing our brain to be in a state of growth and change and healing. Because we only have two states. We can be on a survival mode or in a growth mode. That's it. And so when we're on a survival mode, we cannot grow. So basically the brain has a system, it's called neuroplasticity. And what it does, it adapts to the new things in order to grow. But this happened in that zone, not in that zone. And so when you are shaming yourself, what's wrong with me? I'm wasting my time. I'm such a loser. You are attacking your own self. You're aggressing your own self. Your nervous system is thinking, I'm in danger. And so your brain won't be able to change, to learn, to grow, or to heal, because it's going to be in a state of survival. And so the first thing you want to do is to realize this. And this is why I always conclude my live streams with that. Be kind to yourself. No matter what we do, no matter how we are with others, we must learn first and foremost how to gradually be more and more kinder to our own selves. Because until we do that, we cannot change. Physiologically, and also as far as our brain is concerned, we won't be able to be in a state that will allow us to change because we're in a survival mode. And so your life is in a mess, it's true. But I want you to realize that it's not in a mess because of you. Your life is in a mess because of two things. Number one, because of whatever happened to you up to this point, in your childhood, in your adulthood, we're the continuation of everything that happened to us in the past, but also because of the clash of whatever happened to us. Let me rephrase. Because of the clash of whatever happened to you up to this point, but also because of the state of society itself. Society is very harsh and cruel and merciless. And so for some of us, it's going to be even harder to make it into that society. And so if you had a difficult childhood, if you had some trauma or neglect, if you are different, if your brain functions differently, if you are neurodivergent, if you are on the ADHD or autism spectrum, for instance, this, with the fact that society is neurotypical and very harsh, will create that experience that your life is a mess. Your life is just a continuation of your random birth. You didn't choose it. You didn't choose your trauma. You didn't choose your baggage. You didn't choose your belief. You didn't choose whatever problems that you have. And so it's not your fault. That's what I'm trying to say. Nothing is your fault. And so if you're overwhelmed, what does it mean? It means that your body has an intelligence. It's shutting you down. It's preventing you to do anything else by getting you to go on YouTube or do other things, because it's the only thing that it knows how to soothe your nervous system, make you feel a bit better about yourself. So it's not a bad thing. Now, you do want to do certain things in your life, you do, and so we can talk about this. But for this to happen, you need to be in a place where you are able to learn and grow and change. And so remember, number one thing, stop shaming yourself. Stop talking to yourself like your parents or your teachers or your boss speak to you. Oding, I know I'm very ADHD, but still, okay, sorry, there you go. If you have ADHD, that kind of support what I just said. But still, all what I do, not working out to that due to my life circumstances, I'm on the move without stable base. Be kind to yourself, learn how to understand yourself, learn how to know about you in relation to your ADHD. I have ADHD myself. And so it's about understanding our limits, understanding our abilities, understanding how we can thrive if we can create the right environment, if we can create the right systems, if we can understand ourselves. It is possible. But we need to consider, again, you and also your environment, society. If you want, we can talk about this. Because of my own ADHD and my CPTSD, sometimes I go, again, I was talking about it just today, just before, I go into some zones sometimes where I can spend hours thinking about stuff that are totally weird and irrelevant to my life, but it's my brain's way to have a break from the intensity of my work. Sometimes I'm so focused over such a long period of time that if I'm coming across a day where I don't have necessarily any appointment, bang, suddenly I may not sleep. I may spend hours thinking about silly stuff. And now I'm telling myself, it's okay. I've not wasted my life. I've not wasted my time. I did it because my brain needed this. It needed to have a break. It needed to recharge, to resource, to reset. It needed to not think about anything of the things that I think about all the time. By me being to that twilight zone, kind of bubble. And if I'd explain it to you, people would laugh because it's about doing some stupid list and stuff like that. But it's my system. It works for me. And I'm learning to be kind to myself. And I'm okay with that now. Because I've created a lifestyle where it only happens occasionally, so it's not a big deal. In the past, that was every day, because I was overwhelmed, because I didn't know myself, because I didn't know about all the things that we can talk about today in this video, if you want, if you ask me. Oding. Thomas Brand, how to protect one's kind. What do you mean, how to protect one kind? I don't understand that question. What are we protecting? Mind. Openness involves vulnerability, doesn't it? Protecting mind from what? Everything is contextual, so I need to have a frame of reference. How to protect one mind? Openness involves vulnerability. So yes, so I need to understand your question. What do you mean? Could you be more clear, please? I think what you're trying to say is that you have a predicament because you want to be vulnerable, but maybe if you are vulnerable, you feel that you may be attacked. And so because you believe that you must protect yourself, you can't be vulnerable. Is that what you mean? Harun Ahmed said hi. Hello. Oding, yes, please. Would appreciate if you talk about the things you said about if I ask you. Yes, but I need you to ask me. I can talk forever for England, for France, for China. But what matters to me is that I say something that can be useful to you. So that's why I need you to ask me something specific, please. Otherwise, I can talk about things at a general level, but I don't know. Now I lost the train of thought, so I'm not sure even what we were talking about. What would you like me to talk about, Oding? Would you mind throwing some bullet questions here and there, please? So I have a direction to go. And Thomas, I'm still, again, if you can clarify what you meant, that would be very helpful. I'm going to have a sip of tea until I have some more comments. A lot of people seem to be depressed at the moment, and I'm not surprised. It's December. It's dark, it's cold, it's winter time, and Christmas time can be really, really, really triggering for many of us. And so I used to be very affected myself by December, Christmas time. It was the saddest and most horrible part of the year, every year for me. Now I've changed this, so I'm good, but I can understand why so many are struggling. And so, if you want to talk about depression, do tell me about yourself, guys. And again, we can talk about other things as well. And just so you know also, uh, um, I come here live on YouTube every Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. However, if there's no one asking me anything, I will resume my day. I can use my time in myriads of different ways. I love being here, but if I don't have a question, I just come back some of the time. So I'm going to maybe stay a couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes maximum. And if I don't get anything, I will gently say goodbye until the next time. What I'm going to do, because the silence is a little bit awkward, I'm going to read up on a handful of my own posts and comment on them. And hopefully by the end of it, I will have some more questions. I've got one. Chris Hilton, are my brain and my mind friends? Okay, let's talk about this. Your brain and your mind are two things, are the same thing, seen from a different perspective. Your brain is the physical part, the physical thing that is in your skull. Your mind is your brain in action. And so it's the same thing, really. But when we talk about the brain, generally speaking, we come from a neuroscientific perspective. So basically, a lot of studies and researches are done every day. In the last 20 years, the field of neuroscience has changed everything about mental health, because now we can see what is happening in our brain, as opposed to wild guessing like everyone did before. And so when we talk about the brain, we talk about how we can see some neurons firing, some part of the brain switching on or off within certain situations. When we talk about the mind, it's more from a psychological perspective, but it's the same thing. It's just the type of angle and language that is going to be used. But yes, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. For Chris. Thomas, sorry, I can't specify in short, which is no problem. Okay, so if you can't specify in short, I can't understand you, I'm afraid. I want to help you, I would love to have a chat with you, but if you can't find a way to express it, I don't know how to help you, I'm sorry. Because I don't know. I only have few words that don't make sense to me just yet. Can you try? Maybe some little sentence, and it's like a game. For me, I have to guess through those little sentences what you mean. We can try this if you want. Hot Toner the Pimp. No one asks you how you are. Thank you very much. People do ask me how I am. But in this video, in this live stream today, no one has. I think someone has. But I mean, I understand what you mean. It's kind of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate what you're asking me how I am. I think it's a good thing to say. It's true that we tend to forget that everyone has the same needs. And so I'm rather content in that perspective, in that aspect. But it's true that a lot of people find it difficult because they're always helping others, listening to everyone, giving advice, but no one is listening to them. No one has time for them, and because they have been so used to do this for such a long time, they don't know how to ask. And they're thinking, why is everyone so selfish? What's wrong with them? But what we don't realize is that if that happens, it's because we are not asking for it. Because this is how we see ourselves. We see ourselves like, no one cares about how I feel anyway. It's always been like that. And so we are not going to ask. But also, if we see ourselves like the person who is caring for others, we are the carer, we are the helper, we are the problem solver, then this is our role in society and we'll project that. And subconsciously, this is what we're going to tell everyone. I don't need your help because I'm the one who helps others. And so paradoxically, we have created our own problems. And so for those who suffer from that, it's important to have that self-awareness and to tell people this sometime, it's all good. I'm helping a lot of people doing a lot of things, but today I'm feeling a bit down. I could do with a hug. I could do with a chat. Could you listen to me 5 minutes? I could do with whatever. And then people will give you that if you just asked. And so thank you, Hadstoner the Pimp, for that comment. But I'm happy with myself. I've got enough people asking me how I'm doing on a daily basis. Thank you. Yes, I've got, like everyone, my stuff to deal with. I'm dealing with my health problems. I've been doing this for a few years now. And there's always new problems coming up, new information. However, because I have a good mindset about this, it's not a problem, because this is the journey of life. It's about realizing that we'll be facing challenges all of our life, and it's for us to find out how to make it better. And as long as we keep going, eventually somewhere down the road, it does get better. This is often what I say to people. If you want your life to change, just hold on, keep going. It gets better. And some people may say, how do you know that it gets better? It may not get better. And so I rectify myself and I say, it gets better, it will get better as long as you keep going. As long as we keep going, even if we go through worse, even if it takes a long time, things will get better. But we will only know if we keep going long enough. Lynn at Hadstone the Pimp. Yes, there are quite a few of us who always ask Didi how he is. Thank you, Lynn. Yes. So yes, you're one of them. Sargon, why people become ill? So there's a different way, there are a lot of different ways why it happens. There are different ways we can approach this from a philosophical perspective. But we become ill because this is the nature of the universe. There are all sorts of things that are conflictual, and it's a battle between opposite forces. And so basically we have a body, we are a self, an entity, a being, and we're going to be exposed to all sorts of things. And not only our survival, but also our growth is to do directly with the things that we're going to go through. And so if there's a thin line between growth and survival. But we react to everything because we need to adapt to new things. And this is basically the premises of evolution. Everything in the universe is about growth and evolution. And so we are going to be facing, let's say, some bugs, some viruses. And the game is for us to adapt to it so that we can grow and become better beings. And if we can't, learn about, find a way with medicine, with science, to find the solutions to make us better at this. So now we are growing as a species, we understand this thing better. Now some of us will not make it because X, Y, Z, but this is it. We become ill because it's part of life. Sometimes we become ill, sometimes we heal, sometimes we grow and we become better, and it's all part of the of our experience. Does it answer your question, Sargon? It's not that people just become ill, it's just that we react to our environment based on our genetics. It's the dance of life, if you want. Hadstoner the Pimp. I just met because he's providing a service, and people that provide service often just have that service taken without any regards for the person. I understand, and it's true, but not in my case. Thank you, I appreciate. And I see precisely what you mean, because I can see this. A lot of my colleagues, a lot of people who are in all sorts of professions that are to do with helping others, indeed, don't realize that they are people pleasers, and they don't get anything in return because of the people pleasing identity. It's not just people pleasing, but there's an element of that. It's really about, I'm putting myself after everyone. And this is not the case for me. I don't put myself after everyone. I put myself first. I look after a lot of people, and I do an awful lot because I have that capacity, I have that ability, and I love it. But I always get to a point where I come back to myself, and I remind myself about me, about what makes me happy, about what stimulates me, about my well-being, if I'm being overwhelmed by my work or not. So yes, your input is very relevant, just not to me, but I appreciate it. Sorgon, very interesting. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you. Sunny Banks, how can someone overcome a property mindset? What is a property mindset? I'm a bit warm, so I'm going to get some air flowing on my forearms. What is a property mindset? How can someone overcome a property mindset with feeling worthy and being able to receive more than what someone is used to? I'm going to guess, right? If you can give me more, if you can clarify this, that'd be great. If not, I mean, just to guess what you mean. How can someone basically feel worthy when they don't feel that they're worthy? Is that your question? It's a whole process. We need to learn how to let go of some limiting belief that we have of ourselves. We need to stop telling ourselves that we're not worthy. We do this because we've been conditioned to do that. And really, the one thing that is holding us back is our own narrative, our own self-talk. So if my parents, if my teachers, if anyone that I looked up to when I was a child told me that I was not good enough, I will believe that I'm not good enough. And because my brain wants to protect me, my mind wants to protect me, it's going to keep repeating this to remind me I'm not enough. This is who I am. I need to know my place and time. Some people, they can have all the things that they want, not me. I can only have this or that, but not that. And so whenever I'm going to come across those things that are not available to me, my brain is going to remind myself, don't do this, you're not enough. You're going to be hurt if you get there. And so now, in the end, we keep on talking to ourselves like that. We talk to ourselves the way our caregivers or teachers spoke to us. So they told us, we will only love you and celebrate you if you do this, if you behave like that, if you are the best in class, if you make us proud. Now, this is how we're going to see ourselves. And we're going to believe that our worth can only happen if we do any of those things. If we behave in a certain way, if we display certain qualities in society, and so on and so forth. So we want to change this. We want to address what are our limiting beliefs and how we can address them. So it's different for everyone. It's different for everyone. Can you tell me about you? Can you tell me about your belief? What is the pattern of thought that you have about yourself? What does it trigger? What are the things that seems to always be happening when you're having those thoughts? If you can tell me that, we can talk about this right now. Gabriel Lux, hi Didi, just watch your video on boundaries. Fantastic. It's my latest video. I put it out today at 4 o'clock. Again, every week I put one long form video on YouTube. So please check it out. I put a lot of work in it. Just watch your video on boundaries. Thank you. You describe methods to deal with others, but do you have any tips on dealing with yourself, i.e. gift-giving habit? What does that mean? Let me try to understand this. I describe method to deal with others. Yes. Do you have any tips on dealing with yourself? How so? What do you mean? Boundaries about yourself? Can you be more clear, please? I don't get this for now. I.e. gift-giving habits. I don't understand. Are you giving too much gift to others, to self? Could you clarify this? I want to understand, but it's really confusing at this point in time. Sargon, the philosophical perspective to illness. Yes, that's because otherwise, I don't know. I'm trying to be interesting here. And so why are we ill? There are millions of reasons. Why are you ill? Because you went outside without a coat for too long yesterday. That would be the reason. But I think it's more interesting to look at it from a more broader perspective. Mandy, hi Didi, thank you for your support. Of course, always. Thomas Brand, thank you. Thank you. Chris Hilton, been listening to you happily for nearly an hour, which is a record for me, as I definitely have ADD. Fantastic. So Chris Hilton, to make it even better, ask me something, then I can hook your attention. I can get your hyper-focus if you want. But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate this. I know that it's not easy to, to stick to something unless we appreciate this when we have ADHD. This is one of the secrets of ADHD. We really should highlight this, is that it's very difficult, if not impossible, for some of us to focus on the things that we don't want to focus on. However, when we enjoy them, it's easy. because we enjoy them. It's all about the energy of excitement. If we're forced into doing something, then because we are forced, we are feeling that we're going to lose our autonomy, we don't feel safe. And so we are looking for emotional safety everywhere all the time, so we can't focus on that thing. But if we're doing something that we enjoy, now we're driven by excitement, happiness, joy, curiosity. And so that will tell us that we're safe. And then, bang, we're going to do that thing. Sunny Banks, poverty. I have one word. What about poverty? How can someone overcome a poverty mindset? I get it. This is a very good question. Poverty mindset. We're feeling worthy and being able to receive more than what someone is used to. Okay, great question. It's a great question because I suffered myself from poverty mindset for a long time. And so we want to find out why we hate money. If we are suffering from poverty mindset, the first thing that I want to say is that money is there for everyone. If we don't get it, it's because there's something preventing us to get it. Now, of course, some of us, we find it harder to get there, right? There's a difference between being born poor and being born rich. If you're being born rich, you have more connection, you have more opportunities, you have more education, but also you have a better mindset because you have seen your parents, your neighbors, your friends, everyone is rich, so it's a normality. So it's something that you believe is available to you. So you will easily get there. There's no emotional blocks. If you're born poor, however, like me, like so many of us, we're going to create a lot of associations that are negative with money. So first and foremost, it's just going to be much harder for us to get there because we don't have the connection, we don't have the education, we don't have the peace of mind. We grew up in a family that is very chaotic, that is stressed out, that is overwhelmed because of financial pressure, for instance, because of addictions, because of mental health condition, as a result of the financial pressure. People don't realize that money is the number one cause, direct and indirect, with any mental and emotional imbalances. It's such a big thing. But also, because of that, we're going to create associations that are negative to do with money. And so, let's say, for some people, it may be, I don't like money because I remember my parents were always arguing over money. Money was always a source of problems and fights and unhappiness. So at a subconscious level, we're going to believe money is bad, creates unhappiness. Maybe dad was an alcoholic because he was overwhelmed because of money. Maybe, I don't know, my parents were never there because they had to do 3 jobs, 5 jobs, and so I could never see my parents because of money. Whatever that it is, a lot of us, we don't realize this, we have some associations that are negative with money. For some of us, it could be religion. If you are a Christian, one of the tenets of Christianism, one of the things that often people say is that money is the root of all evil. We're being conditioned to believing that money is bad. It's not, it's just money. But if we believe that it's the root of all evil, at a subconscious level, our mind is going to keep us away from money because it's bad, it's evil. Right? For me, my problem was because my dad worked so hard for money that he had 5 cancers. He didn't make it very old because he worked so hard. So basically money killed my dad, but also my mom had a lot of mental health problems because of the pressure of my dad being unhealthy because of the pressure of working so hard. And so that created fire between us. And so all of my problems, all of my pain, all of my suffering, my addictions, all of my conditions was because of money, if you think about it somehow. Oops. It's my watch telling me in a very gentle way, but it's time for me to put my third TikTok post out. So just bear with me, please. I'm going to do this and then I'm going to resume the conversation about money. It doesn't have to be remarkable in order to be good.
The chance to cool down at the same time.
Okay. With TikTok, there's no system that allows me to prepare this, so I have to do this like that. Anyway, this is out. So how do we change this? The first thing we want to do is to find out, why do I hate money? Why do I feel that money is not safe? Why do I believe that money is not my friend? And then we want to change that, and we want to realize money is not bad. A lot of people continue that narrative. People who have a lot of money are evil. It is not true. Some of them are. It's true that billionaires don't have to be billionaires, but a lot of people who are rich are very happy and nice, kind, good human beings. It's got nothing to do with anything. But if we believe that, we need to reinforce those subconscious belief that we have about money. And so the first step of poverty mindset is to find out why do I feel like that, and then realize it's all a lie, it's not true. Change association. Money is my friend. Money is good. With money, I can be at peace. I can pay my bills. I don't need to stress out, to feel anxious about the next week, the next month. That in itself is privilege that so many of us don't have. I know that I was obsessed with the next week and the bills for my whole life. It's only been the last few years that I've changed, because I didn't even realize that I may still have some things to work on this, not feeling safe financially. And so we want to find out what is our block. You have essentially a money block. So there are different ways to address this. The shortest way would be to address someone. No, it would be to get someone to help you, someone who has the tools that can access your subconscious mind. So something to do with hypnotherapy, for instance, or meditation. What I do is called RTT, and this is precisely what we do. We go back into the recess of your memories and we find out what are the blocks that are creating your inability to get the things that you want now in your life. There's nothing in this world that we can't have in some capacity. And the only reason we don't have some of those things is because we believe that certain things in life are not available to us. Everything is available to everyone, including money, health, love, purpose, and anything else we can think of. Now, we may not have exactly what we want, the exact picture of it, but we can have something that can give us the same feeling and emotions. So yes, Sunny Banks, do you want to talk more about this? Could you tell me what you believe would be the reason as to why you find it difficult to get closer to money? And again, I want to really highlight that some of us will have to put more effort to make money, right? But having said that, we can all make it at some point if that is what we want, provided we are not limited by our money blocks or success blocks. For some of us, it's not money, it's success. Success is not available to me. Success is bad because my parents were so successful, but were never there for me. Or in order to be successful, we had to sacrifice all of those things. There are so many reasons as to why people don't get what we want, but it's never because those things are not available to them. It's because they believe that it's not available to them. Lynn at Had Stoner Help the Pimp. I totally understand what you mean. It is important to remember that we all need to be seen. As an empath, I always put everyone's well-beings first, but rarely is it reciprocated. So this is the thing. Why is it not reciprocated? Do you ask? I find that most people, if you ask them, they will give it to you. But this is the thing. This is who I am, and so I never get it. It's always been like that. It was good. So because of that, we don't say it. We don't ask for help. It is that simple. If you give people a chance, and I know that it may sound weird, but it really is it. It is, Lynn. If you're an empath, you know what? Learn how to ask for help. Learn how to be vulnerable and tell them, you know what? I could do with a little bit of kindness here. Can you spare me 5 minutes? Let's have a coffee. I've got something to let go of my chest. And as you do that, that's how you learn to realize that you can have those things. If you ask, that's it. Now, there are some people you may ask, they don't give it to you. But it's okay. Ask other people. It's a big world out there. Some people may not be able to give you what you need, what you want. But there will be some people that can. It's for you to find out those people. And also you say, rarely is it reciprocated. And this is the thing. This is another conversation, but we don't want to do things so that they are reciprocated. You want to do things because it feels good, right? If I do something and I'm thinking, I've done a good deed for you, and I'm expecting you to do something good back at me, now we didn't do anything out of kindness. It was some sort of emotional transactions. I give you something, you give something back to me. And this is a different way to think about it. It's very often something to do with, again, people pleasing. I have to do this because I believe that this is what good people do. Now I've done this. Why aren't you a good person yourself? What's wrong with you? Instead of, I want to do this because it feels right and I don't care what you do. And if you come back to me with something nice, I will appreciate it. It's nice, but I'm not expecting it from you. Yeah. I hope it makes sense. Heartstoner the pimp at Lynn. No one believes you're an empath. Why are you saying that, Heartstoner the pimp? Are you criticizing her or are you supporting her? It's difficult to read the tone of on the typing on social media. But so let's see how it goes down the thread. Jagged little girl diagnosed ADHD this year despite CMHT team saying no overlap with BPD. On med for it now, massive noise reduction, internally core baseline stable. I just wish my case was looked at properly. Okay, so number one, focus on the positive. You have some progress, some results, right? Focus on that. And number two, find out, okay, now, how can I make it for the gray areas? How can I fill up the gaps? Do it yourself. Don't rely entirely for people to save you. Right? There's some people that can help you, and it has happened already. And there will be more people helping you out. But I think the best thing we can do is to really realize that we also have power. So you can learn what to learn in order to know more about yourself and fill up the gaps. And this is what we're doing here as well. If you want to ask me anything, I can help you with this as well. I think we are lucky enough that some people can look after us. But also, we must remember that what we know about mental health in the last 20 years is better than anything prior to that. Back to even in the 1990s, a lot of terrible things were done in the name of science. It was wrong, or the professional, or the academics. So that's why when people say to me, what sort of diploma have you got? It makes me smile because it doesn't make any difference. A lot of people, it doesn't matter. It really is, it's really about utilizing the latest knowledge we have about the brain, about the mind now, and also using our intuition and our own life experience. And all of those things together will make someone good at what they do or not. It's not how many decades of academia they had, because even not long ago, terrible stuff were being taught at the highest level of academia as far as mental health is concerned. Sunny Banks, I don't have that problem, but I see a lot of people. So why is it just ringing? Okay, sorry about that. I don't have a problem, but I see a lot of people do, and I love to pour into them with positivity and reassurance. Let me try to remember. The poverty mindset. It's a big topic, and it's a very personal thing. And so it's got to be done case by case. If you don't have that problem, good on you. If you want to help others, it's a great thing to do as well. I think the best thing to do is to read more about it, learn more about mindset and about psychology, about the subconscious mind, and about the belief system. If you can ask me a question directly, precise, I can give you something. But yeah, I don't know what else to add to this. I think I covered the subject quite broadly today. Unless you want to add more to this. Sargon, I think an illness is a gift. If you can open it and wear a coat. Maybe. You're being poetic here, maybe. Gabriel Lux. Yes, I got addicted to the joy and response you get from gift giving. Okay, and now I want to do it even when it doesn't feel genuine internally. So there's a conflict here. If it doesn't feel genuine internally, it doesn't mean that you're addicted to the joy. I think I understand what you mean. When you see people being happy, that element of this is making you feel safe. And this is what people pleasers do. So again, we don't choose that. It's a trauma response. But essentially, you do things in order to feel safe. And for you, what makes you feel safe is to see people being joyful because you have done something for them. And that's why you're saying that it's not aligning with genuine internal feelings. If you did it because you love doing this, then you wouldn't have that side effect happening. And so the way that I read what you said, Gabrielle Lux, is that you have created a sense of self where when I give gift to others and I see that they're happy, there's a part of you that feels safe. And now you're feeling better for that. But because you didn't do it for the right reason, you didn't do it because you wanted them to be happy. You did it just because you wanted to feel safer. Then there's a part of you that is going to react to that and think, oh, I don't like doing it. Why am I doing this? This is ridiculous. And so my perspective on this is that you may be a people pleaser. Do you believe that you may be so? We can talk about this if you want. DJ Raf 74. Hi, hope you're having a wonderful day. You said in a short that wanting to confront / knowing everything is linked to a dysregulated nervous system. I'm aware of this. Do you have any suggestions to help regulate? Okay. So this is a very good topic. I did indeed talk about it in one of my shorts, and I said that some of us were obsessed with trying to control and understand everything. We need everything to be certain. How do we address this? By finding out about our mental health. If we're like that, we are not in a normal, healthy state. We need to control everything. And some of us, it could be all sorts of different reasons together. Some of us may be on the autism spectrum, and we had some trauma, and we are going through a lot of stress, and we don't know whether we have any of those things going, and so we have created those systems to give us some sort of reassurance. Like people who have OCD, for instance, this is what we go through. They need to have an illusion of control, and so there's the obsession and the compulsion. The compulsion is the thing that we're going to do to make sure that we are dealing with those intrusive thoughts or ignoring them. And so what I'm trying to say is that people who are obsessed with everything being logical, everything making sense, is because they are dealing with some problems that are inherent within them. Some level of trauma, neglect, maybe some OCD, anxiety, whatever that it is, the compulsion to need to make sense and understand everything is not healthy, it's not normal, it's not to be glorified. It comes from fear. The fear that I need everything to be predictable. I need everything to always be safe, that I can see coming from afar. And so how do we deal with that? We find out what we have. Whatever that it is that you're dealing with, you learn about yourself, and you find out what is the thing that you want to address. This is only the symptom of a problem. It's not a problem per se. It's a symptom. Now, the first thing that you can do to learn how to regulate is any type of mindful breathing. So this is something that you can learn how to do. And it's a practice. But you can learn how to do box breathing, cycle sighing, 478 plus, whatever it is. There's a lot of different breathing techniques that you can use to help you regulate in the moment. That will not fix your problem because you will still be triggered. But in the moment, at least, it will make you feel better about yourself. And that's something, right? Now, if you want to take it to the next level, again, therapy, great thing to do, absolutely. But also, something what you want to do is to learn how to feel better in your body. And so the breathing, that's one of the things that you want to do. There are a lot of other things you can do, but just the breathing in itself, you can actually elevate it into a skill that you do every day, so that it eventually becomes your natural way of breathing, as opposed to a coping mechanism when you're overwhelmed. I hope it makes sense. But of course, you do want to address your triggers, because they always will be somewhere within you. And I'm realizing this today because I've been told today by my doctor, and it makes sense, but I may have some anxiety, even though I'm super happy and at peace. I'm such a different person than I used to be, and yet there's something happening physically in my body. I feel a pinch in my heart. And we're doing all the scans and the X-rays, and my heart is all right, my lungs is all right, and so that could be anxiety, and because of my past and my history, it does make sense. Because we are not just one thing, we are many layers, we are many dimensions, we are many stories, we are many remnants of the past. And so there'll be some aspect of me that I have not digged yet. I've worked on other parts, but maybe there's something else that I should address now, and this is it. And so there could be some level of anxiety or unhealed trauma with you. In which capacity, I don't know. We can talk about this. Hafsa, could you speak slowly, please? This is my pace, I'm afraid. If you have a problem following me because you have some problem hearing people in general, ask me something, and I will make the conscious effort to slow down just for you, for your answer. However, for everyone else, this is who I am. This is how I talk. This is me. This is my normal self. And so I'm going to allow just being myself, and I hope that enough people will get it right. But again, if you have a personal query you want me to talk about, I will slow down just for you, just for your question. Okay? Is that fair? Sorgon, money caused your father to be ill. So what is illness? Illness is many things. It's like, what is potato? What is the wind? What is hope? Anything depends on the narrative. So for me to answer your question, I need you to give me a context. Within which context? If you can give me a context, I can talk to you about illness, about potatoes, or about unicorns. But I need a frame of reference. I need a context. Can you give me that, please? So go on. Jagged little girl. Same, Didi. My dad's ill health made me a child seen, not heard. It's hard to be growing up like that. Always having to read the room, assess the adult's mood, etc. Respond right. Yes, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Laura Armstrong, what do you describe as an intrinsic value? How do we find our worth? Intrinsic value is something that feels right. It's something that your nervous system, your body gets, your intuition, your gut, it feels right. So basically, intrinsic value is something that you do because it excites you, because it stimulates you positively, as opposed to extrinsic value or reward or motivation, which is to do with others. And so the whole of society is designed on extrinsic value. That's why so many people suffer from a lack of purpose, a lack of sense of self, because we've been conditioned to always look outside. So what are those things? Two things, the carrot and the stick. Punishment or reward. Those are the extrinsic value. I do something because either I'm scared of the punishment or because I'm looking for the reward, the external validation, the praises from others. The opposite of it is intrinsic validation, intrinsic reward, intrinsic motivation. And this is what we really, really want to work on. And that's what we feel natural. What do I want to do? What excites me? What did you enjoy as a child? And if you follow that, now you're doing things for the right reasons. And people who are very successful at the top of whatever field they are, they're always driven by intrinsic values. Otherwise, they wouldn't get that far. And the whole schooling system, the whole education system, parenting system is based on punishment and rewards. And we need to stop this. We don't want to do things for things that are external of us. We want to do things because it feels right. And the external will sort itself out on its own. Hope it makes sense. Does it, Laura? Lynn, sorry Didi, I used the wrong term, reciprocated. What I meant was, I genuinely care about everyone, and even events happening in the world affect me deeply and feel helpless, but I can't help it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I take everything literally because that's all I get. I get some words, so that's why. But I knew that you didn't come from those places. I just had to say it for the sake of it. But thank you. Gosh, I'm realizing I'm quite behind. It is 24 minutes past 7. I'm going to read every comment. If I'm a little bit slow, just bear with me, please. I'm on it. I'm not ignoring any comment at all. William, how do you handle a partner you think has some autism and don't know whether or not to tell the partner? All right, okay. The best thing to do is to suggest to them, tell them, do you reckon that maybe I've noticed this? And I know someone who's got autism and they seem to have the same trait. And then next, they will tell you yes or no. And if they don't want to find out whether they have it or not, leave it at that. Not everyone is ready for that. Sometimes we create a sense of self, a system over years to function in this world. And for some people, they may never be ready to face that because they have created the system and everything else is too scary. They can't go back. But it's a great thing to give them a chance to have that realization. So tell them, I've noticed that your behavior made me think of that person or those things that I read online. Do you believe that maybe you may be on the spectrum? And the reason I'm telling you that is not because there's nothing wrong about you, but it's because people who have autism, they tend to suffer in this society and believe that there's something wrong about them when it's not them, it's because of society. When you get a diagnosis for whatever condition that we have, could it be ADHD, autism, bipolar, BPD, or anything at all, we realize that it was never me. I have a condition, I never chosen that condition. I didn't choose to be traumatized. I didn't choose for my brain to develop in such ways. I didn't choose for my nervous system to be dysregulated and to be on a constant state of hypervigilance. I never chose that. But until we realize that we have a condition, I'm going to think and believe it's my fault. I'm weak. I'm lazy. I'm stupid. I'm nasty. There's something wrong about me. I'm broken. And this is the old system of judgment, which has been invented by religions originally, and we need to get away from that. We need to understand instead of judging. And so learn how to understand in the context of you and your partner would be for that. Tell your partner, are you happy? Because if you're not, maybe it's because you have a condition that has not been seen yet, and people believe that it's you when it was never you. That's why it's so important, if we can, to understand more about ourselves. Self-awareness is so important. Otherwise, we'll be continuing the narrative of guilt, shame, self-blame, self-hatred, which the vast majority of us suffer from, at least at the start of our life, because of the way society is designed. Society and religion. But again, William, if they're not wanting to go that road, let them be. Not everyone is comfortable doing this, and it's their own choice. Learn how to love them and accept them as they are, regardless. Sunny Banks, any recommendations on books? It depends what books. What books do you need? That books for everything. Cooking books. Books about how to do yoga, I don't know. Books about sorcerers, magic stuff, books about dinosaurs, I don't know. What sort of books, what sort of thing do you have in mind, please? Jagged Little Girl, yes, I'm kind of good just knowing it now, and for most part, stop looking for external validation, ? But the diagnosis will help my kids. I wouldn't maybe be so bothered otherwise, but thank you. Okay. In that case, find out. In that case, it's very simple. Have a growth mindset that will get you to find out how to make this happen. Right? When things are not going our way, we can always find different ways to make this happen. And so instead of thinking, I'm frustrated because the system is not looking after me or us properly, find out, how can I do this? How can I make this happen? What do I need to learn? Who do I need to ask? Which door should I knock on? Which internet site should I visit? And then eventually, more and more so, you'll be able to find your answer, right? growth mindset is where it's at. Anna Soar Forever. Hi Didi and everyone. Hello Anna. William, thank you, William. Williama, I need to go, but hope you answer my question. Thank you so much. All right. Yes, you can watch this on replay. Again, for those who are new to my channel, all my live streams every week are to be found on my profile, on my channel. It just takes a few hours for YouTube to fully upload the live stream. But typically by tomorrow morning, every single live stream that I do will be foundable on my page. So you can always replay it if I said anything that was relevant to you and you want to retrieve some information. Anna, can a man be with kind intentions and also be a psychopath? My boyfriend is nice, but he doesn't show emotions and he also doesn't understand them. So psychopath is a very specific term. There are many different ways, as in someone can experience a lack of empathy. There are many reasons as to why we may lack of empathy, but psychopathy is quite extreme. What makes you use that word? Has he behaved in any which way that are disturbing to you? Does he hurt animals, insects? Is he cruel to people? Or is he just lacking of emotional intelligence? There's a whole spectrum within the conversation. We don't want to put everything in everyone in the most extreme category right away. I think with psychopath, they will use you, and so they don't care about others. They don't have that level of empathy, and so if they are with someone, it's because they get something out of them. The moment they don't get that, the moment they decide that that person doesn't serve my needs anymore, they will discard you. If your boyfriend is nice and doesn't show emotions, I hope that it's not because he's a psycho. All right. I like to believe that some of us, people on the autism spectrum, they don't show their emotions. They are very often misunderstood, and I know this because my husband is autistic, and so it took me years to understand this. I thought that he was just horrible, but it's just that he processes information and emotions differently, and it's not shown. So that could be that. Maybe your boyfriend is on the spectrum of autism. Yeah, and you say he also doesn't understand them. That could be that. I would go in that direction rather than is he a psycho? Maybe do some research and find out whether or not your boyfriend could be neurodivergent. Lynn at Heartstoner the Pimp. Would you like to explain your comment further? Yes. Anna, he was abandoned by his mum at 5 and abused by his father. He is very helpful and kind. If he's helpful and kind, then it's all right, right? He's not a psycho. Psychos, they are not kind. They can be helpful if it helps them pretend to be someone else. Actually, they can come across as kind. But this is the thing. It all depends on your level of emotional intelligence. Because there is acting kind, and there's the energy of kindness that you can really feel when someone is warm, coming from a place of kindness. Like, again, my husband, he's like that. When I didn't know him, sometimes he comes across like someone that is super rude, cold, heartless. And I felt alone. I've never felt so alone because of him. At the beginning, when I didn't know that he had autism. But now I understand, so it's different. But there are other moments when he's kind, you can really feel that energy of kindness emanating from him. Psychos don't do this. And so pay attention to your gut, maybe, and see how you feel about him when he is kind. Angela, Didi, coming across you was a real gift for me in 2025. Thank you so much, Angela. Do you merch? You have an amazing taste in t-shirts. All right. I don't do merchandise, no. I'm a therapist. So my services are to do with helping people address their mental and emotional imbalances. I don't have any merchandise, I'm afraid, sorry. I don't know if it's something that I should be doing. Yeah, maybe not at this point in time. At some point when my book is out, probably I'll be doing some things. But right now, It's a good idea. Once I've written my book and it's published, maybe I can do some t-shirt with some positive affirmation of my own, something like that. That could be a good idea. Thank you for the suggestion, Angela. And thank you for the kind comment as well. I'm glad that I was helpful in any way. Gabrielle, yes, people pleasing is something I'm working on at the moment. You have given good tips in the past. Thank you for pointing this misunderstanding between joy and not genuine feelings. Okay, okay. If you're a people pleaser, I would suggest you to check my last long form video of the week that I just put out today on my YouTube. And it's called How to Set Boundaries Without Guilt. And you can see me with that shirt on the thumbnail, and it says stop being a people pleaser. And so check it out. It's a 14 minutes video, and it's actually, again, I put a lot of effort in my videos to make sure that they are informative and concise. So check it out. I believe that a lot of people could learn from it. Anyone who's a people pleaser could really benefit from that video. So, how to set boundaries without guilt, my latest long form video on YouTube. And let me know there what you think about it. Nate Werner, you helped me give my counselor a chance. All right, okay, okay, good. Sprinkers, what is your take on you can't heal and be well in the environment that damage caused trauma? Yes, it's true. Yeah. As long as you stay in a place where you feel unsafe, you cannot heal because your nervous system, your subconscious mind still believes that you are in danger. So you are going to be on a survival mode as opposed to in a healing mode. It's one or the other. You can't do both. When you're in a survival mode, you have to fight for your life to survive. Or this is what your mind and your nervous system believe. Right? And so, as long as you are, if you have been traumatized, let's say by family members or by by your partner, and you still live with them, you won't be able to heal because they're there. So, at a subconscious level, and not just subconscious, if they talk to you, you will still feel unsafe, attacked, and you won't be able to heal. So the first thing is to always remove yourself away from the source of the pain. Now, if you can't move straight away, there are ways around it to make it easier on yourself, but you've got to move away from it. Jagged little girl. And this is where being Glaswegian helps. Lol, your pace is good with me, Didi. All right, thank you. Do people in Glasgow talk very fast? I didn't notice. I went there for one day because I went on a TV show called The Eggheads with a bunch of my colleagues. They needed to form a quiz team and they're missing one, so they asked me. So I went to be with them, and the studio ITV is in Glasgow. So that was very enjoyable experience, except that the night before the recording, all my mates decided to go and get pissed. So I don't remember much about the city because I was in a very inebriated state, and the following day I was hungover. But from what I remember, it's a lovely place. That war. How can I give a person with an addiction skills to help themselves? You cannot. It is for them to go through their own journey because it's very, very complex. We're also vastly different. And so it's about that person, finding the right person that can help them basically open the doors one at a time to understand themselves. And you can't give skills for people to change like that. It's not that simple, sadly. It would be nice if it was that simple. But it's really about people finding out about first why they need an addiction in the first place. It's not about the addiction. The addiction is never a problem as far as I'm concerned. The addiction becomes a problem, but it always is secondary to the source of it, which is depression, anxiety, trauma, any of those things. That creates a need for us to have an addiction because we hate how we feel in our very body all the time. And so it's a journey that what you can do is to get your friend to follow the right people, read the right stuff, get started on their own journey of healing. And the one thing that I would recommend is for your friend to come to my channel and ask me questions directly. I used to suffer from addiction myself. I was addicted to alcohol, class A drugs, sex, and so many things for until the age of 38. And that was pervasive in any aspect of my life. That was the main thing. And so now I'm teetotal, super happy, balanced, and all, and healthy. But because of that, I can really help your friend. Get him to find me on YouTube and come to see me on my YouTube live streams. I come here every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. That's why I come here. I do this professionally, but I know that not everyone knows where to get started. And also not everyone can necessarily also afford therapy. And so at least I believe that this is helping some people, and this is my way to give karma some payback. Laura, thank you, Laura. Anna at Dafwa, great question. I'm interested too. So I hope that I answered the question. Sunny Banks, mindset/philosophy books. Okay, mindset. There's a book that I recommend a lot, and it's called Mindset. I don't know where it is. I don't think I have it in physical copy. It's all audiobooks. But Carol Dweck. Check out Carol Dweck. And it's a book called Mindset. And basically, she coined the term growth mindset versus fixed mindset. I think she's a child psychologist, but that system works for everyone. And it's a fantastic book. I recommend it all the time. There's a handful of books that I recommend a lot, and that book changes lives. And so if you want to have a better mindset, because there's a lot of confusion when it comes to mindset, it's used to any source in any which way. A lot of people don't even really realize what we're talking about on the social media. And so to make sure that you get it right, I would recommend you Mindset by Carol Dweck. There you go. Here's your book. Philosophy, I don't have any philosophy. Philosophy is a different thing. I don't delve in philosophy. I delve in psychology. Philosophy, for me, it's a bunch of people explaining how they interpret reality. Whereas psychology is understanding the mechanics of the mind for everyone. So that's different. Psychology is useful. Philosophy is more an exercise of stretching our mind because we enjoy doing this. So it's all right, but it is not helpful as in psychology. It's only helpful if you enjoy those sort of mental exercises. Jagged Little Girl, who is your favorite philosopher, Didi? So in terms of philosophy, there's a place and a time for everything. And so there's an aspect of philosophy that I do enjoy. And that's anything to do with Eastern philosophies. And so typically anything to do with Taoism, anything to do with Buddhism, anything to do with any of those kind of school of thoughts are philosophies that are helpful in my book. So I don't have a necessary favorite philosopher, but I'd say, again, anything to do with Taoism, mindfulness, and Buddhism, those are my kind of spiritual thinking systems. Jake Paul, how do I, as a guy, ingrain into my head that I'm confident and deserve the best and I'm awesome? We're all different. As a guy, it implies that you're telling me about some aspect of masculinity. The one thing that I want to really highlight is that you don't have to be something as a guy or as a girl, just as a human being, as a person, as who you are. We need to stop that dichotomy. This is limiting us. This is creating a lot of problems. This is why so many men suffer from toxic masculinity, because of the patriarchy. And so you don't need to do anything as a guy. If you do it as a guy, it's because you see yourself from the position of people for whom it's important to be a man. You must be strong. You must be a man. Don't be such a sissy. You know what? F that. You are whatever you want. You don't need to be this or that. You can be masculine if you want, if it works for you, but you don't have to. So you don't have to do anything as a guy. You just want to do things as a human being. How do you love yourself? And I know how to tell you by directing you to my other video that I put out 2 weeks ago, and it's called How to Love Yourself. Again, I do long-form content on YouTube, and I spend a lot of time doing them. So I believe that they can very help many of you. And so if you go on my YouTube channel, in the video section, the one that I put 2 weeks ago called Self-Love 101 tells you everything that you need to do in order to learn how to become more confident and accept that you deserve the best and that you are awesome. It's called Self-Love 101, and on the thumbnail, it says how to love yourself. Check it out. It's only 7 minutes long. It's very short. I think that will help you. But essentially what you want to do is to remember that you were always confident. We were born confident. All babies are confident. It's only that as we grow up, we absorb, we inherit from the insecurities of the adults. And now we forget that we are confident. So it's more about an exercise of letting go of your limiting belief and reminding yourself of your own power. So again, it's a journey, it's different for all of us. And I can help you with that if you give me more details about yourself. Le blanc cola. Autistic people feel so deeply, just don't externalize as we do. Yes, yes. They have a different experience of emotions. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That's why they come across as no emotion. But there's an element of empathy. Some have a disconnection that can be qualified as a lack of empathy. So it's not all this or that. But yes, autistic people are very, very different in the way they process their own experience and interactions. Absolutely. Le blanc cola. They often can't process intense emotions as quickly. Yep. Yeah. I agree. Anna. I didn't know neurodivergent persons can seem psychopath. Thanks a million. Well, they can seem different. Psychopath is you labeling your partner as such, your boyfriend as such. But yeah, it's possible. Cocktail die. What about other mind problem? What about it? What would you like to know about it? Tons of them. Which one would you like to discuss? Santana Mason. Hello. Anna, your advice are awesome, Didi. Thank you so much, Anna. Angela Ramsey. I forgot the book. The books I love. What you said about feeling the tone of a person, kindness, even they are not verbally expressing that. Lovely. Yes, we don't realize that we're emitting a lot of energy all the time, not just with the words, but with how we say things, with our body language, with our very energy. There are a lot of things that are happening that our nervous system, that our subconscious mind is processing all the time. There's so much information passed all the time. That's why some of us are better than others because of X, Y, Z. But the information is there. If you can learn how to connect people at a more energetic, deeper level, we'll be able to understand so much more about those people, as opposed to take literally whatever information they say to us, or how we believe we should label that interaction because of what we see or what we hear. Everything is energy, and so we are constantly transmitting and receiving and deciphering information. And very often what we don't realize is that a lot of information that we get from people, they don't go through here. Our nervous system feels it. Sometimes we are in the presence of someone and we feel not safe because we have an intelligence in our body that is capturing those energies from that person, that is telling us, keep away from that person. And we may not even think about it. And so sometimes we go against it. We feel that there's something bad, but our brain is going to go, that person is a nice person. I'm going to dismiss and ignore that feeling. And then in the end, we end up problems, suffering from that relationship, from that interaction. But yes, our mind is constantly working on scanning our environment, and our nervous system reacts constantly to whatever is happening around us based on our system, but also based on the information of the people. That's why I often talk about intuition. It's a different way to talk about how to learn how to tap into that intelligence. Cocktail die. If we view the mind as a world model or logical system, does Gödel's incompleteness theorem mean certain truths are inherently inaccessible to us? Can we ever transcend that system? So I don't know who is Gödel. Let me find out. But I have an answer for you. Kurt Gödel, logician and mathematician. Okay, so He's from Czechia. Considered along Aristotle and Gottlob Frege to be one of the most significant logicians in history. Okay, so it's all about logic, right? So let me read what you said now that I know this. The mind is a logical system. Yes, it wants everything to be logic and squared and predictable. That's what it does. Gödel's incompleteness theorem means certain truths are inherently inaccessible. Yes. So it's even more simple than that. I don't believe that there is one truth. I believe that there are infinite truths. I believe that we all experience a different truth within each moment of our existence. Every single one of us. Not a single person will experience the same reality, the same perspective, the same truth as anyone else in that moment. Not exactly the same. We may agree on some things, but everyone has got a different experience. And so in that sense, it's impossible to experience the whole of it because it's just infinite and people are so very different as well. And so, yes, my perspective is different. It's much more open, but it really is about the principles of quantum physics. There's no such thing as one reality that is fixed and universal and exactly the same for everyone. There's only a version of reality that will be different to everyone based on the position of the observer. And so in that sense, if I'm going to come back to your question, are there some certain truths that are inherently inaccessible to us? Yes, absolutely. There are tons of them. Actually, most of them. We only know one truth, our truth. That's the only one truth that we know. We won't know the truth of others. We may have a glimpse of some people's truth, and the more we expand our mind, the more we can zoom out and become the observer, the more we can have a bigger perspective of the world. And this is how we expand our awareness of reality and ourselves in it. But it will still be our reality. It will be an expanded reality of our original one, but it will still be our reality, not anyone else's. Angela, goodness, the eggheads, my dad loved that program. You must be very clever. I was lucky. I used my intuition. I had all my questions right. And they asked me questions that I didn't know. But again, because I was hungover, I just and I didn't know, but there was something telling me, oh, it's that answer, or it's that. It's like as if there was a light shining over that answer rather than the other ones. And I had all my answers right. Again, intuition. There's really, really something powerful about it, but most people don't realize. Anna, I have some friends addicted to alcohol. It's excruciating for me. My dad, who I say was my soulmate, died at 61 from alcoholism. I'm sorry to hear. It's a terrible addiction because it is so normalized in society. So that makes it even harder. Overall, very often people say this, alcohol is the only drug that instead of saying, why are you addicted? People are going to say, what's wrong with you? Why don't you drink? Why don't you have a drink with me? And so that makes it more tricky. So I'm sorry to hear this. We can talk about this if you want. I used to be addicted to alcohol big time. I used to get pissed and pass out twice a day, every day, for months on end until I would end up in a coma. And then we start all over again. And so really, really, really something that I'm familiar with. And I'm teetotal now. And I'm happy teetotal. I never feel that I'm missing it in any way. Therefore, thanks. Therefore, you do this good. Please go on. Thank you. God or good? Thank you anyway. Jagged little girl. I follow Thich Man. Is it Thich Nhat Hanh? You mean the Vietnamese Buddhist monk? And I really like his teaching. Yes, Thich Nhat Hanh, as they align and are Buddhist. Okay. I'm also finding Stoic teaching quite interesting too. Okay, so this is very, very different. There are some similarities between Buddhism and Stoicism. However, there's a huge difference, and that's why I am not into the Stoics things. I understand that it can be helpful for some people because there's a lot of overlaps. So basically, when it comes to both Buddhism and Stoicism, it's about don't react to the moment, but what matters is what you're going to deal the next moment. So that's a universal wisdom that I agree on. The difference between Stoicism and Buddhism, however, is that Stoicism is all about virtue. Be a better, bigger person. So there's still a lot of ego involved. and there's still a lot of comparison and better and worse and judgment. And so because of that, I'm not so keen on that. With Buddhism, it's different. Buddhism teaches everything is an illusion. Your personality is an illusion. Good, bad, better, worse, right, wrong. It's all an illusion. And so that, for me, works better because I can zoom out. And we're also able to let go of that need to be good enough, to be strong, to be brave, to be virtuous. Stoicism is all about virtue. And I don't agree with any of that at all. We're all different. And whatever we are is good enough. As long as we are happy and as long as we're not hurting anyone, we don't have to be any of those things that we call virtue. And so that's the difference. But again, I understand that a lot of people can benefit from Stoicism at some point in their lives. I just don't believe that it can bring people as far as teachings such as the ones you can find in Buddhism. With Buddhism, it's all open, so you can go much, much, much further. And when it comes to healing, again, we're letting go of that element of guilt and shame and self-blame, and I must do harder, I must do better, I must try harder, I'm not enough, which is part of the Stoics kind of system. But Thich Nhat Hanh, yes, great guy, lovely, fantastic work. I've read many of his books. Therefore, is it right to try to encourage a person who is suspected of having ADHD to get a school diploma? This person is capable of doing it and receives help, but they set different priorities in life. Whatever people do is their life, it's not yours, right? And so focus on yourself and try to be kind as much as you can. So I'm trying to understand what you say. Is it right to try to encourage someone who has ADHD to get a school diploma? Okay, I understand. So I'm going to withdraw that. I apologize. I thought that you were trying to correct someone with ADHD. My bad. I apologize. I understand. I think what you're trying to say is that if someone has got ADHD, is it wise to push them into a system that is not designed for them? I would say no. It's not wise. I agree with you. I'd say if someone has ADHD, it's better for them to realize that they're different. And so they should be in a different environment. Anyone who's with ADHD or autism, we know this, we suffered because we were in the wrong environment and people thought that we were stupid, or that we were lazy, or that we were going against everyone on purpose just because we are stubborn or whatever. And we suffered from that. And so if you suspect someone with ADHD, the best thing to do is to suggest to them and their parents, maybe, because if they find out that they do and they're happy to go in that direction, as in getting diagnosed, that would be life-changing. They won't have to go through a lifetime of shame and self-hatred, like I did, like so many of us did, because society is cruel to those who are different. Is that what you meant, death war? Death war. Friends and having fun are important. I believe the two don't have to be mutually exclusive. However, they would rather choose one of the two. Is it wrong to make them aware of this choice? I don't understand this again. Let me try. Okay, the person is capable of doing it and receives helps, but they set different priorities in life. Friends and having fun are important. I believe the two don't have to be mutually exclusive. They would rather choose one of the two. I don't understand. I'm sorry, but my brain can't comprehend that. I don't. Could you make it simple, please? It's too complicated for my brain. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. Angela, be well all. Perhaps catch you Friday. Fantastic. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Bye for now. Chris Hilton, good night. Thank you, Didi. Good night, Chris Hilton. Thank you. It's 2 minutes to 8, so I'm nearly coming to the end of the live stream anyway. That's why I know that this person can lose focus quickly, and I believe that their life is often enough a battle against themselves. Okay, so just based on that, regardless of the previous comment that I didn't understand, if you believe that the person is struggling, and if you believe that you know something that they may not realize, share it with them and see what happens. Anna, congratulations for your victory with addiction, Didi. Great character and discipline. So it's not character and discipline. Thank you, Anna. but it's not character and discipline at all, not at all. And it's very important for me to say this, because otherwise it implies that everyone who can't get rid of their addiction, the lack of discipline, there's something wrong with the character, and it's not like that at all. We all do our best. We are all always doing our best, but a lot of people, most of us, we don't realize that we're all limited by emotional baggage. And it's all subconscious. It's all to do with our trauma from our childhood. And so if people are not able to stop an addiction, it's not because they lack of character. It's not because they lack of discipline, not at all. It's because they can't. They just cannot. It's not possible. Their brain, the subconscious mind, the nervous system, everything, the whole system is overloaded, and they can only do that because that's only one thing that they can do. And that's it. It's very important to realize this. I know that you come from a good place, and I appreciate your compliment, and it's kind, and I thank you for that. But people don't choose to be addicted. People don't choose to be anxious. People don't choose to be depressed. People don't choose to be traumatized. We don't choose any of those things. We are all doing our best, based on the upbringing, on the genetics, based on everything that we are and that we've been through up to this point in our life. And so the reason why I get it is not because of me. It's because it was my journey, it was my destiny. I was lucky enough, it happened. But it's not a reflection of my strength or power. I struggled, I tried to unalive myself many times. I'm not meant to be here, and yet I am. And also I've hurt a lot of people. I destroyed a lot of people. I created so much hurt for 38 years of my life, and I hated myself for that. But that's all that I knew, and I couldn't do anything else. And eventually, luck arrived, my destiny unfolded to the next phase where I was able to grab my opportunity to change, which is what people see as the peak, the tip of the iceberg. But in reality, there's so much more going on. We all do what we can, right? And so again, thank you for the compliment, but I don't want ever anyone to believe that when people are, let's say, it's like people who try to unalive themselves and they're still alive. Say, oh, you're very strong. No, you're not. You're doing your best, and it's good. We're all strong. And the reason I'm saying this, because it would imply that those who did unalive themselves were weak, they're bad, they're inferior. No, we all do our best. We all do our very best. And for some of us, for the vast majority of us, it will get better. For some of us, however, it will not. And it's nothing to do with our personality, our character, our willpower. It's got nothing to do with that. It really is the luck of the lottery of the universe. What sort of genetics, what sort of trauma, what sort of belief, what sort of parents, education, upbringing, environment, any of those things and more have created who we are. So yeah. I understand that you come from a good place, and this is exactly, I'm writing a book about it. That's why I'm so passionate about it. It's the myth of a character, the myth of a character. We believe that some people are good, some people are bad. It's not true. We are all which that we are because of whatever happened to us, and we never chose anything. And if we can understand that, then we can have more empathy and compassion for others, but also we can understand ourselves more, so we can heal ourselves as well better. I hope it makes sense. And thank you again, Anna, despite all that little tirade, for your compliment. I know it's coming from a good place. Shamzen, interesting perspective. Never thought of it that way. Thanks. Okay, thank you. Mama in space. How can we help teens who struggle to make friends, especially those who are on the spectrum and who are aware that they often come across as weird or awkward? Their words. It's a tricky one. Sadly, because a lot of people are raised by mindset and mentalities that belongs to the past. There's still going to be a lot of prejudice, a lot of mocking, a lot of belittling those who are different. And so typically people who are getting bullied are people who are coming across different. Very often people are neurodivergent. And so the best thing to do, there's no system. The only one thing that I can think of is for your son. I know, your teens, is to get the kids to hang out with people who are neurodivergent. That's your safest bet. Surround yourself, they must surround themselves with people who are like them. And there are some neurotypical kids who are very kind and open-minded. They exist as well. but we don't know for sure. We cannot know. It's not possible. And so they will meet those people in their own life. But the best thing to do is to really ensure that those kids are surrounded by the right crowd. Back then, when I was a kid, I've suffered from a lot of horrible things. But anyone who's an outcast like me, we end up with the other outcast. So they tend to be neurodivergent, people with problems, people who are the others, the different ones. And so instead of ending up with them, it's better to put them in a place where it is the norm. I think that would be my advice. If a teen is struggling to make friends, it's going to be very difficult, because if we are neurodivergent, we just function differently. So either as a kid, but also as an adult, we don't know how to function in society. So the best thing to do is to, as an adult, we can grow some understanding, some systems, and also we have more freedom and resources, so we can organize lifestyles around ourselves as well. But as a child, as a kid, there's nothing much we can do about it. What I would say is to teach the teens to find happiness within themselves, as opposed to they need to accept that society is the way it is at this point in time in their life. Things will change, hopefully, in their lifetime. And also, I'm talking about society at large. But also, I believe that their life will change as they grow into adulthood, because they'll be able to do different things than what they can as teens. But maybe teach them how to accept that people are like that, and it's okay. Stick with those who can see you, those who understand you, and create a space between you and the rest. But that will be my safest bet. And tell them you're not awkward, you are not weird, you're different. But it's not a bad thing. You're just different because society is still learning how to appreciate everyone's special qualities. Tell those kids they're like superheroes. You see, I like my superheroes. They have a superpower, but they need to be in the right place. If you look at the X-Men, for instance, in society, they'll be dealt with like freaks. But if you hang out at the mansion of Professor Charles X, they're all right. So this is what I'm trying to say. Anna, heart emoji. Thank you, Anna. Jagged little girl, I think I will stick with my teachings from Buddhism and look into the others you mentioned, as Stoicism sounds nice, but I don't have the right words, but it feels restrictive. Yes, it is restrictive. It is restrictive. Absolutely. It is the right words. Yes. So yes. But some people will disagree with me, because for them, it feels familiar. And so if you grow up thinking, I must have a mentor, father figure that is impressive, we're going to follow people like that. That's why people follow people like Andrew Tate or Jordan Peterson, because they are figure of authorities, and they are used to recognize that energy. I need to follow someone like that. So with Stoicism, there's a lot of warrior, knight, I am Spartacus, those sort of things. And because of that, that attracts a lot of young, disenfranchised men who are looking for a system. And there are a lot of wisdom within Stoicism, right? But again, because there are a lot of overlaps with other stuff, they didn't come up with that. It was like universal wisdom that you could find all across the continent, the globe, the planet, back then in many different civilizations. What I'm saying is that there's some aspect of it, however, that I find very restrictive indeed, and that can potentially be even toxic to some people. Anna, learned so much tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. Thank you for not reacting negatively to what I said. It's really appreciated. Mama in Space, thank you. Mama in Space, may I ask how much of your addictive behavior was attached to your neurodivergence? It's all connected. It's not just this or that. It's all one thing. We're all the continuation of something. What I'm going to say is that neurodiversity is a huge, huge part of it, right? Is a huge part of it. If we are neurodivergent, to get started with, we function differently, we react differently, we feel differently, we see different things, we experience a different reality, we interpret things differently, and so if we are in a society that is going to oppress us, we're going to create so much anxiety and shame that we create a state where we hate ourselves, and eventually, after many, many years, the only way we can find solace from that constant self-bashing, because we're going to do it to ourselves as well, not just society, but both. Now we need something to be addicted to feel better about ourselves in this moment. Something that I often say is that even though my addictions were terrible and created a lot of suffering and pain, they had one redeeming quality. And again, it's not me promoting addiction, but it's saying that if I didn't have addictions back then, I wouldn't even be alive now. So there's that to consider. Right? I'm not getting anyone, don't do that. But if you are there already, know that, you know what, it's better to suffer all those things than to be dead. Because as long as we're alive, there's hope, and we can change over time. Like I've done, like so many of my clients, like so many of my friends, like so many people that I know. Anna, good night. Stay safe, everyone. Great live, Didi. Thank you so much, Anna. Jagged Little Girl. Yeah, it sounds like my dad. You just told me why I like listening to it, as it sounds familiar. Okay, all right. Yes, yes, yeah. Guys, I just realized it's 11 minutes past 8. I'm going to go now. Please come back. I'm going to be here Friday in 2 days' time at the same time between 6 to 8 p.m. UK time. And so please come if you feel like it. If you know anyone who can benefit from my help, get them involved. If you want to replay that video, it will be available by tomorrow morning on my YouTube channel. And so make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. And that'll be it for now. Mama in space, I appreciate your honesty. I understand you. Good night. Guys, I love you all. Take care. Good day. Good night wherever you are in the world. And remember to be kind to yourself.